But the GOP now has an even greater battle ahead. On Thursday, those troubling allegations emerged in the Washington Post against Alabama Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore, accused of sexual contact with a 14-year-old girl decades ago.
Roy Moore is somebody who graduated from West Point. He served our country in Vietnam. He's been elected multiple times statewide in Alabama. The people in Alabama know Roy Moore better than we do here in D.C.
Based on what we know now, should he step aside?
Again, I'm not an expert on this issue, but what I would say is people should investigate this issue and get the facts.
And I think we have to allow that more facts come out. And Roy Moore
what
has
are the
said,
more facts?
Roy Moore has said that this week he plans to come forward with more evidence to support his innocence.
And if that evidence doesn't work, what does that mean? You guys are going to step in. Is this Senate seat that important?
There's no Senate seat more important than the notion of child pedophilia, Chuck. I mean, that's the reality. But having said that, he has not been proven guilty of that, and we have to afford him the chance to defend himself.
I also want to make sure that we as a nation are not always prosecuting people through the press.
What seemed interesting about what Mitt Romney said and Leon Daines have said is they've looked at the case as presented by the Washington Post, and that was sufficient evidence for them.
There's no doubt that the case is compelling. The judge and the jury in this case will be the people of Alabama.
Look, we're not talking about a criminal conviction. We're talking about whether somebody ought to carry the banner of the Republican Party.
From my point of view, I have to say I think the accusations have more credibility than the denial. I think it would be best if Roy would just step aside. I think a write-in is something we should certainly explore, but a write-in is very difficult, let's face it. There's no easy solution to this.
The ripple effect on the Republican Party is yet to be determined. The truth of the matter is we ought to be a party focused on principles, and we should govern according to those principles. And
President Trump is the leader of the Republican Party in America. It's his responsibility to step forward and say more and do more when it comes to this situation in Alabama.
The president also is not as focused on this as he is his major 13-day trip abroad. And so he made a statement, he's sticking by that statement, but he's not being briefed on this bit by bit. Let me say it one last time. The conduct as described is not just offensive and disgusting, it disqualifies anyone who's done it from holding public office. So let me go a little step farther. If there's anyone currently in public office who's behaved that way to any girl or any woman, maybe they should step aside.